All right, lesson 7.8, circle graphs. You all know, here's the deal. Remember when we talk about the number line from 0 to 1? Right? Really, all a circle graph does is tells you, it guarantees you that everything inside that circle is going to be all of whatever they're talking about. It's talking about parts of a whole. Parts of a whole. If I have a circle graph and I tell you, I say this is the gender of this room, meaning boys and girls. The circle graph is talking about everyone in the room. Does that make sense? It's everyone. Since I'm saying the gender of this room, I'm talking about everyone in the room. So let's look at this. How many people are in the room right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 11 right now. Right? You can count me. There's 11. 11, right? There's 11. And how many of them are boys? Let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 of them are boys. So look, since this is part of a whole, would this be a good thing right here? Would this be, okay, this is the boys and this is the girls. Would that be an accurate? No. It's 8 out of 11. Okay, so that's not it. Would even like this be a good one? Would this be could this be the boys? Is this more like it? More like it, but that's still not right? Yeah. Okay, let's go here. Let's see. So it's what about something like this? Yeah, that's a lot better, right? Agreed. That looks a lot more like it, right? If you were to take everybody in the school, however, what if it wasn't the gender of the room? What if it was everybody at the school? Every person here at school. What do you think it would be more like? What do you think it would be more like? What would it more look like, Sladen? Right, but I'm talking about that has nothing to do with the circle. Does that mean the circle has to get bigger? Do I have to make a gigantic circle now because there's more people? No, it's the same size circle. That's not the point. So then what would the divisions inside the circle probably look like, Jonathan? What now? Do you think there's more boys or more girls here, or do you think they're about even? What do you think at the entire school? You don't think it'd be about half and half? There's about 50% boys and 50% girls? In the whole school? Definitely. Half and half. It'd be about half and half. Boys and girls. Just like if I said in the city of Walnut Creek. What if I said, okay, forget the school, it's the city of Walnut Creek. The entire city. What's it probably going to be like? 50-50, right? You know that half the people on the earth are born boys and exactly half are born girls. It's not exactly half, but it's really close. Right? Boys, girls. Now, what if I was to find out, if I was to poll you all and ask you what was your favorite color? Okay, if I was to ask you what your favorite color was. I'm not going to. But you tell me if this is, how would I do that? How would I set up a circle graph? Let's just say that you had to choose between blue, red, or green. That was your choices. You had to choose between those three. Let's do it right now. Blue, red, or green? Blue. Green. Yeah. Red. Blue. 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 Red. Blue, green, blue, and I would be red. So here's the deal. Shh, not important, right? No need to cheer for that since it's not green. It means nothing, so there's no need to cheer. There's a total of 7 out of 12 for blue, 3 out of 12 for red, and 2 out of 12 for green. Agreed? Okay. Now, let's talk about this thing. How could I set this up? What do I know is true about blue? It's a little bit more than half. Perfect. See, that's what I'm talking about. You look at that and you go, wait a second. The blue is a little bit more than half. Not a lot more, because 6 is half, right? 6 is half. So 7 would be a little bit more than half. So when you draw it, do you agree that that's possible, that that's about right? Okay. So that's blue. Okay. Now red. What do you know about red? Tell me exactly what you know about red, Donovan. It's exactly a quarter of it, right? And that leaves the rest would be green, which would be a little less than red. Do you agree that green up here on the chart is a little less than red? Yeah. So do you see where what you want to do when you do this? If I gave, I'll give you another one. Here's our chart. If I told you that 48% of the people in the school chose blue, and 26% chose red, and 14, 6, 74, and 26% chose, is that true? Yeah, chose green. Tell me what I would do. What would I do here? How would I graph this on the pie chart? What would I do? What would I do, Jonathan?
Give blue about half.
About half, a little more or a little less than half? A little less, just a smidge less, right? So you go here and then you go, okay, right? Just a smidge left, that's blue. And then what about red and green? Here's the deal about this. There's only 2 people left. There's only 2 left. And so what do you know is true about both those? Just looking at them, what do you know? They're both a little more than a quarter. But what else can you see here? They're equal. So then whatever is left, I need to cut in half, right? Right? See, pie charts are not meant to be like precise and so perfect. They're supposed to be so that if you were to just pretend you didn't see any of this. Say you couldn't see any of that. But all you could see was the pie chart. Would this give you a pretty good idea as to what colors people preferred? Yeah. You'd look at that and go, oh wow, most people, almost half the people chose blue. And then the rest of the people were about 50-50, on red or green. That's what a pie chart's supposed to do, is just kind of give you an idea, make it so that it's visual and you can very quickly look at the pie chart and understand the information. Does that make sense? Let me give you another one. What if we had this? I'm going to give you a pie chart. Okay. Okay, if I was to ask you this, just listen. If I was to ask you and say, okay, which sport did most of the boys prefer to play at recess? Could you tell me just by looking at the chart?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Which one? Football, right? What was the least popular sport that boys chose? Volleyball. Right? My point, though, is that you could tell this without knowing how many people were asked. You can do this without seeing, how much they wanted to play. This just gives you a very quick little picture of what people chose. Does that make sense? If I was to ask you to list these from the most desired to play to the least desired to play, could you do that? You'd go football, then basketball, then volleyball, right? This is really all that is happening on your homework tonight. Here's the deal. The book here, and sometimes, a lot of times teachers or books will want you to learn how to write these things and create a circle graph. And while that would be good, and I think you could create one of these the way I'm showing you, I think you could do it. for the most part, when you take a test like the Terra Nova test or something, what do you need? Do you need to create a pie chart? No. What do you have to be able to do, Jonathan? Interpret one, right? Look at it and then understand it. Just be able to read one and understand what it's saying. So for the most part, that's what I'm going to have you do for your homework, is I want you to be able to read it and understand what it's being portrayed. Okay? There is a few questions here that I am going to have you create one or two. But it's not like, you don't have to be exact. If I asked you to do this for me, I said, okay, right now, I want you to do this for me. Create one right now. There is a... This is, we'll say, what continent you were born on. We want. It isn't even this room, just whatever, And there was, North America was, 70%, and South America was 18%, and Asia was 10%, and Europe was 2%. Do me a favor and just go ahead, write this chart. Make a circle graph for this information.
How big it must be.
All right, you should be done. Here's the deal. Look, use major landmarks that you know. And what I mean by that is this. Here's your pie chart. North America. What is 70%? What can you tell me about that you could use to help you in this? What is 70% close to? No. 75. Why is 75 so important? Why is that such a good one? Because it's 3/4, right? So look, this would be 3/4. Agreed? It's not quite that much. So it would be more like this, and then instead of being straight across, it might go like this. Does that make sense? You see what I mean, though? This is important. So you know what 75% looks like. That's 3/4. It's a little less than that, so you've got to take a little off. So this is North America. Now what I would do is go, okay, 18%. 18% is not quite 1/4, right? It's not quite a fourth, so it can't be this. It's a little less than that, so maybe that, right? Maybe something like that. Okay, so this would be South America. And then 10% can't be as big as this, but you just start using, you have to start using, 10% is about half that size, so it'd be something like that, right? And this is Asia. And then the rest, 2% is Europe. Now I have a question, this is very important. Does it really matter that, technically, isn't Europe way too big for 2%? Shouldn't that be super, really tiny, skinny? Does it matter? No, it makes the point, right? If it gets too skinny, you can't even see it. Right? If it's too skinny, you can't even read it. What I'm looking for when you do this, though, is that Europe would definitely need to be smaller than the rest. It should be the smallest sliver by a lot. And then the North America should be the biggest sliver by a lot, the biggest chunk. Does that make sense? So when you do create these, just make sure that you don't have a smaller percent that's bigger on the chart than it's supposed to be. Make sense? Did you all get that one? Did you all get this? Okay. I'm going to go ahead and let you start your homework. I think you guys have it. You guys should get that done. You have 12 minutes.